Okay, so how was your day? I feel like this question is a question that stays in a lot of people's heads to ask their loved ones when they come back from wherever it is they've been, especially when you've spent like a day separately from each other. You always want to know about the other person's day, but our answer to it is a bit generic a lot of the times, actually. We just go, my day was okay, or yeah, it was good, nothing much happened. But most of the reason why we say this is we've been sleeping the whole day, actually. And by sleeping the whole day, I don't necessarily mean you've been asleep for your whole day. That's like another thing. There's people who obviously sleep in during the day, they call themselves nocturnal, and they're up all night doing whatever it is they're doing, and that's totally fine. That can be a day you're having as well. By sleeping during the day, I mean essentially not being able to know how your day actually was, because for most of the day you've been functional, not alive. Being functional, not alive looks like just having a day where you're just lazing around, you're not really paying attention to your environment, you're not controlling what's in your control, and you're not letting go of what's not in your control, and therefore your day just goes by, it just flies away. Usually it's just because when we're supposed to be paying attention to the things that we're supposed to be paying attention to, we're not. We are on our phones, we are thinking about some other things that are not related to what it is that is happening in the moment. And without living in the moment, you can never summarize a day because you were never living in that day anyway. You just got up about your day and just did things that seemed like they were relevant to you when they were actually not relevant sometimes. And by the end of the day, you figure out, oh, I've literally not looked at this day, I've just lived by it and it just flew by. Therefore, I cannot summarize the day. I cannot talk about things and how they made me feel because when I was supposed to be feeling something, I was busy on my phone, or when I was supposed to feel something, I thought I was being productive. When I was just being busy, I was distracted throughout the whole day. And this distraction comes from the things that we've normalized these days. We've normalized entertaining ourselves with what other people are doing, watching Instagram stories and all that. So when our life is supposed to be going by and we're supposed to be live in real life, we're not live because we are looking at other things. You hop on a bus and the first thing you think of is, let me get on my phone, let me watch what other people are doing out there. When you could have gotten on the bus and just sit down, been still, being quiet, maybe you would have seen someone dressing in a funny way and that would have been funny to you. Maybe you would have noticed that person who is lacking conversation with someone and you would have talked to them. Maybe someone would have noticed you in the conversations that you need and they would have talked to you, and that would have made your day something special. You might have then noticed patterns over time. Maybe there's someone who gets on the bus with you a lot during the week and you could find common ground with that person. Try to think of the story that you have when you listen to Dave and he's talking about the Leslie situation. They were always on the same train, although they were living two different lives. In the song, it doesn't really talk about what was going on in his life, but then goes on to talk about what was going on in Leslie's life. That sort of conversation that they had and that little that connection that they had over that period of time where he comes and then he kind of becomes the person that she just talks to, even about her best friend, even about everything that was going on in her life with all that she was facing, comes from not being distracted when the two of them are on the train. She might have been like the distracted one. He might also have been the distracted one at some point, but they all came back to a point where they were not distracted. So when then the question comes of how was your day, both of them could answer with each other in the bracket, because in that short little time that they had on that same train every day or every other period where it was just them on that train, they got to live in the moment and they got to experience what it was for them to be in that moment together, and they got to share those stories, and those stories became something meaningful and something helpful in Leslie's life, and also gave Dave a story to tell. That's what happens when how was your day becomes important, and when you're not sleeping during your day, because sleeping in this sense, I would like to take it as just not paying attention to the environment that you're in, to a point where you don't know what really goes on in your environment. You don't know what really goes on in your life. It's like time periods pass by and you do not even know what happens. The thing about your days is no one really leaves your days with you. So sometimes you won't have anyone to summarize your day for you. You won't have anyone to like talk you through what happened when you were sleeping. And this is why you need to stop sleeping during your day. This is why you need to stop getting distracted during your day. And distraction looks a lot like not having shower thoughts anymore, because all you do is getting distracted by music while you're showering and you're getting ready for your day. It looks like not hopping on TikTok the moment you are in a social setting and actually be social in that setting, because that's exactly what it is supposed to be for us. And just letting go of the tiny little things that get you to not use your senses, the tiny little things that do not get you to hear with your ears, do not get you to see with your eyes, do not get you to feel what is going on around you, do not get you to know whether it's warm or cold, do not get you to pay attention to the environment around you. Because when you stop paying attention to the environment around you, that's when you become asleep. And that's when your whole day just goes by. And those time periods become days, and those days become weeks, weeks into months, months into years. And over the years, sometimes you can't really recall what was happening with you over the years, because every day you've just been asleep. You just never knew what was happening. You just never knew what's been going on, because you were so distracted by everything going around you, and you were too busy listening to other people's stories when you could have been creating your own story, or your own story was getting created, but you were just an NPC in your own movie. That would hurt a lot. What I feel now is a lot of us try making things happen. We try thinking about things and just having ideas, but we never make those ideas happen, because ideas are a sign of us being awake, but then execution of them are a sign of us being alive and actually being procreative. Making ideas turn into something is always special. I think it also takes less time if you are a person who is awake, because the time between when a thing is an idea and when it is executed becomes less for you. And when it becomes less for you, you can have many ideas that come around, fail, and you try again. If it fails, you keep trying again until you find the thing that works for you. And this happens if we take our day seriously. Taking your day seriously and slowing down the horses that we're riding on these days with the fast content, fast money, fast food, looks like this. It looks like living each day in the moment, because in the moment is where you are able to get the gifts that are meant for you. Some people say the present is a gift. That's why also gifts are called presents. And this just bridges us down back into your reality and what our realities look like. So if the present is a gift, how are we utilizing that gift? Are we unboxing that gift, or are we letting it fly by each and every day? And when then it becomes the past, we then start thinking about it and try to figure out what it exactly was, when we never know how we really felt. How was your day? You think about it now and you can't really base it off anything else except for what you experienced. Allow yourself to experience more. It's just the message here. Because when you experience more, I feel you can also filter out the good. You can also filter out the ugly. You can also filter out the beautiful, the most beautiful parts of it. And those most beautiful parts of it can look like what builds up your life to become something better. Becoming something better looks like a life where you are more creative, because you have bent what looked like the rules of life. You have bent what it means for you to have a day. And when the how was your day part comes to you, you can even ask that to yourself, and then you get back to things like the good habits, the journaling, the fasting during the morning and then only eating in a specific period of time, the getting into routine and knowing who exactly you are. For some people, it looks like, oh, the person who has routine might be the most boring person, but that only comes when we take routine and we take it to be something boring. our habits build us up to our routines, right? And then our habits become who we are. They become the core of who we are as people. But for some people, having a routine is machine-like. It only becomes machine-like when your routine does not allow for you to be spontaneous with your life. Be spontaneous with your life and notice what this spontaneity looks like for you. Being spontaneous might look like you travel to a different country every 3 months if you can afford to. And then in that country, you happen to do things that are spontaneous to you. So then every day looks a bit different for you. I've seen this in myself where I try to have this routine where I work out every single day. I try journaling every single day, reading a book every single day. But in spontaneity, it has looked something like the workout that I do if I'm traveling might be different from the workouts that I do when I'm in normal routine and I'm just having my normal days in this normal setting where I live. Sometimes it might look like then, okay, let me try going on for a hike. That's a different workout from the normal training for races, marathons, training for high rocks races, weightlifting, bodybuilding and all of that. Then it looks different because I've allowed for that spontaneity. So when someone asks me how my day was, if I manage to notice myself in my routine of working out and that workout being different and being a hike that day, I can talk about that hike and I can talk about all those experiences which have led me to not be as distracted. If your routine looks something like you get up every morning, you run, you come back to your place, take a shower, get ready for your day and then go to work, the spontaneity can then come from that run being the same distance but a different route. And then what you see in that route might be something different. And people only think, oh, people like talking about working out, running, and all this because that's what gets them going, right? But it might not be. You might be distracted while running as well because you listen to a ton of music while running, or you might be distracted while running because you try overthinking while running. And how was your run? How was your workout? Or how was that one thing you do? Like, how was work? Becomes a burden and it's something you can summarize again. It looks like the how was your day thing again because you slept through the run. You were listening to someone else. You were listening to some other stories. I'm not saying do not consume any media. I'm just saying consume media when it's necessary for you to consume media. Try out different things and be spontaneous because that's where you might find yourself to not be asleep and to be truly awake after all. You might want to go for that run without the music and see how your body responds to that. You might want to go for your hike with a different type of group of people who you've never hiked with before and see how that pans out when things get difficult. You might want to build up your routine to allow you to be spontaneous. Move yourself out of the normal routine that you have because the normal routine that you have might be boring after all. And when it is boring to you, it will be boring to the next person and then you might not have a story to tell. So ask yourself questions throughout the day that will make you want to answer those questions at the end of the day and figure it out. Figure out who you are in spaces, figure out what you are like in spaces and figure out how your day was. Do not figure out how your day was at the end of the day, but figure out how your day is becoming in each part of that day. Living in the moment, because in the moment is where we allow ourselves to be truly creative and to truly live like the human beings that we are. Human beings means we live in the presence, and in this presence we live bit by bit, step by step, and we stop sleeping during the day because sleeping is for the night. We might have more memory recall on our dreams after all than we do on the reality that we live in each and every day because we are so distracted, and distraction has become so crazy for us up to a point where we can be distracted the entire day. I don't remember which live show it was, but I saw a guy, I forgot his name. He was talking about how he deleted Instagram because he got distracted to a point where he saw the top of Mount Everest, and seeing the top of Mount Everest made him feel away because he just felt like he had managed to see something that only needs you to achieve a great stride, which would be climbing to the top of Everest, right? And he felt like he didn't deserve that. He felt like his day was ruined because he saw the top of Mount Everest. And that's not being negative in a way sometimes. It depends on how you look at it. I looked at it in a positive manner and I was like, okay, after he deleted Instagram, what did he do with his life? And it's like, oh, he then managed to get off Instagram and he started doing something very meaningful. He started going on hikes. I hope he still does this. And he now just wants to experience things where he achieves something to be able to see it. So we also need to be people who want to achieve something in order to see that something. And the only way we can see that something, even if we achieve it, is by stopping to sleep and stopping to be distracted by the little things that come day by day. My challenge today is just look at yourself in the mirror and tell yourself you're not going to sleep during the day. And when you see yourself sleeping during the day, get back up and notice what the day has for you, because what the day has for you is more meaningful than whatever it is that is distracting you. If I'm totally being honest, it might be your thoughts, it might be other people, it might be drama, it might be noise. Just cut out the noise and live it one day at a time. If you can summarize each day and maybe have 1 or 2 events per day that you can truly summarize and you live truly in, you will have 365 events by the end of the year. That's 730 by the end of the year if you're counting only 2. And that's sometimes even serving journals, because a journal can have 100 pages. And sometimes it takes me a year to only fill up one journal. But if I can write about one thing and it's like a full page, imagine 2 things a day. Imagine how many journals you'd have. Your life could be a book, and that book can be a best-selling book. So take the chance just to stop sleeping during your day and wake up. Those people who said be woke might have been onto something. You might need to be awake during your day after all. All right, that's it, gang. I think for today, that's my yap. That's my thought.